Hey guys, welcome to the MC Anime Podcast. We cover anime, geek culture, Japanese aesthetics, and Asian studies. We are a multi-fandom podcast, and you can expect to hear topics in your favorite hobby or fandom activity potentially. You can find MC Anime on Google Podcasts, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. Also, please check out mcanimepodcast.com, our website. Furthermore, stay tuned in for another episode.
Hello guys, welcome to another episode of MC Anime. MC here, your fellow host of MC Anime Podcast. So, this particular episode is Japanese animation and world's perspective. A brief summary of what inspired this episode and what this episode's about is basically the animation from Japan is very unique. We call it anime. And as a result, we actually jump into what the world sees it through their perspective, through their lens. So, we're going to try to tackle Japan's animation with the world's perspective. What that means, we're going to take a look at Western animation that takes influence from Japan for its anime content. So with this being said, it's going to be anime-influenced animation that basically takes work from works of Japan animation, or it's inspired by anime. Generally, the term anime refers to the style originating from Japan and the Western world. Japanese animation has become increasingly popular. Studios in the Western Hemisphere has begun to implement visual stylizations, typical that we know of anime. We have the exaggerated facial expressions or the super deformed versions of characters. This is really important that this is actually taking this step, because there's lots of different TV shows and animated series that actually are really good. And this is the area I identify: cartoons, animated series, animated, and anime. Animated series is what is my version, takes inspiration from anime. And it has a fandom, has a plot. It's not substandard like a cartoon. Cartoon is substandard. Anime specifically has the Japan culture, and that is what the term means. It's very loose, but for fact's sake, just have cartoon, animated series, and anime as the three characterizations of my perspective of animation. So yeah, we have, even though it's outside of Japan, anime is specifically used for animation from Japan or as a Japanese animation style that's characterized by the colorful graphics, vibrant characters, fantastical themes. Now, there is a debate over whether the culturally abstract approach to the world meaning may open up to the possibility other countries than Japan, but typically when Japanese coined the name anime, it was referring to their culture, and anything that was like Korean or Chinese in Japanese sense was not determined as anime. Now, they're very close, and they're all Asian animation. However, Japan, I don't want to say they have a monopoly on anime. They just, I don't know, it's just very reminiscent of what Japan is. So they just take a lot of pride in it. It's about pride. And people have different determinations of what anime is and all this other stuff. I'm just going to go with the broad definition, which is just cultural works referencing Japan or originating from Japan. I know that doesn't help as much, but bear with me. But that meaning is abstract. It's very loose to interpretation. So how you interpret it could be different to someone else. Just keep that in mind. So, and I mean, animation from other sources outside Japan not being called anime is kind of cliche in a way, but it's just, I don't know, it's just one weird, it's an example of how culture influences society and the world itself. Anime is just one of those phenomenons that Japan can have credit when credit is due. So let's jump into animation projects from America. So that's really interesting with America because they have a lot of animation studios. Don't forget we have Disney animation. Before Japan actually got into animation, the first animation was highly inspired from Disney, which was Disney was an American company. So it goes to show you America was probably very early in the animation industry. However, Japan has taken its own style, its own way of life, and all of that. So further ado, we go through first known attempts. American companies inspired by a Japanese animation. The King Kong Show, 1960s, early 70s, 1970s. Collaboration between Toei Animation for Japan and Videocraft from America. We had animation with anime-like visual style and a Japanese kaiju theme that kind of gave the Hanna-Barbera era in American TV animation. We also have Frankenstein Jr., Gigantor. Also, we have Johnny Cypher and Dimension Zero. And then we have, other influences with Toei animation. We had the collaboration in Transformers TV series, which was in the 1980s. This is animated by Toei. The series was produced and for Americans. Transformers showed many influences, elements of anime stories, themes, and mecha at the time, mecha anime. Another example is Voltron, an American mecha series that reuses the animation from released Toei Japanese animation, creating a new story by American writers. Just don't forget, even though it came in America first, Japan had their own version of it, so that's where the weird thing with Transformers and Voltron come into play. Japan would eventually make it their own anime of that same name, but of a different franchise in Japan, just like Spider-Man Japan at the time. This trend continues to the 80s, like Dungeons and Dragons, Toei Animation. 1990s started to be outsourced to Japanese animations. TMS Entertainment, which is like X-Men, Ninja Turtles, Thundercats, Spectre Gadget, Rainbow Bright, DuckTales, Chip and Dale, Spider-Man, all these different series that TMS Entertainment did was outsourced to Japanese anime studios because that's how big and notable projects did that attracted to Japanese specifically. Then we have like American cartoons. Early examples was basically have a strong influence without any Japanese artists directly involved, like Cartoon Network, Powerpuff, Dexter's Laboratory, early versions of Kim Possible and Disney Channel. But this is where we also start breaking away with actual big series that are really nostalgic. We call these nostalgic cartoons or nostalgic animation. It has a loose term. Some people refer it as different things. But I refer to it as the animated series. Batman the animated series. Great series, loved it. Then we have like Gargoyles, Teen Titans, the Boondocks, Megas XLR, the Batman, Brave, Batman, the Batman, Batman Beyond of anime. Outsourced Japan, average Japanese stylizations in Western animation. Then we get like the Super Robot, Monkey Team, Hyperforce Go. Then we also have like Teenage Mutant Turtles, some anime inspired moments, notable like Voltron Definitive Universe, the Super Robo Mecha Force 5. Then we also have Avatar The Last Airbender and the sequel of Legend of Korra. Great shows. Avatar The Last Airbender is my favorite animated series of all time. I don't care. There's not much replacing it at the moment, and there probably won't because of the nostalgic factor I watched as a kid. Legend of Korra was great too. It challenged different things that Avatar didn't have. Martial arts in Avatar was a big thing, so it did Chinese martial arts, and it actually had an actual fighter for the videography of the fighting. And each element had different martial arts. So basically, started discussions among fans and viewers what anime is, whether non-Japanese should be called anime. Avatar was confirmed to be an anime influence that Hayao Miyazaki, like Spirited Away, Princess Mononoke, also My Neighbor Totoro, that was the inspiration that some of the creators like Brian and Dante did with Avatar. Then we also have like Studio 4 Degrees Celsius, Production IG, Polygon Pictures, and Studio Ghibli continuing that trend with Avatar. Starting what can be seen in Voltron, which is the reboot of the Voltron series, Legendary Defender. Both known for the work. Now, Avatar and Korra showrunners, which serve as head writer. Now, anime-inspired American-made shows are the Netflix series Castlevania and Blood of Zeus. These have been defined as anime by some sources in an attempt to classify all Japanese anime style works of non-Japanese origin. Okay, Netflix is trying to do their own original anime content, so they're toying their own version of anime. So Netflix is getting to be really big in that area. Then we have the American sitcom The Boondocks. It's shown many scenes as like Japanese sword styles have been used, but it also takes up different American aspects of like Chicago lifestyle, mafia, or gang style too. It's really reminiscent of American culture, but taking influence from Japan. Then we have the web series Ruby, produced by Rooster Teeth, based in Texas, in America. It was a American anime by multiple sources. Okay. For example, so when Ed Week did a reporting on this, American-made anime from Rooster Teeth gets licensed in Japan. Ruby went nuts in Japan. Japan had to get their own licensing, and just everything blew up. And Crunchyroll, being an anime style that owned Auto Media, which also owned Rooster Teeth just made the even big series pop off even more. And then we also have, this is the first time any American-made anime has been marketed to Japan. Works the other way around. I'm really pleased about that. And then some believe, just like Scotch needs to be made in Scotland, American company cannot make anime. I think it's another way of seeing it. Anime is an art form. They say only one country can make it. This art is wrong. So the argument here is it's basically the monopoly of the anime terminology in Japan. They take very high pride with that, and other companies think that this art is not belonging to just one country. It belongs to all of them. And I guess that's a valid argument in some aspects. And then 2015 announced that it intended to produce anime. It's offering a more accessible channel for distribution in Western markets. And then we also have been defining anime as a style, has been continuous amongst fans. John Obler saying the insistence on referring to original American art as anime or manga robs the work of its cultural identity. Now we also have to go back to Avatar. Voltron, Legendary Defender, has opened up more debates, which should be called anime, whether it should be culturally abstract to the approach to the world's meaning. They opened up the possibility in other countries other than Japan and it being called anime. Now, Westerners strictly view anime as Japanese animation product. Some scholars suggest defining anime as specifically or quintessentially Japanese may be related to a new form of Orientalism. I don't know. This could be something that could be sparking more debate because a lot of fans have been arguing what is anime, but the broad term or the very broad definition of anime is just, it's very exclusive to other companies other than Japan. They need to be more inclusive. Fans, basically, it should sparks the debate, well, it should be defined as style rather than a national product. It leaves the possibility of being produced in other countries. Then we have like Stitch, an anime spinoff of Disney's Leo and Stitch, and the successor of Leo and Stitch the series. It was in Japan. The show featured a Japanese girl named Yuna in place of Leo, set on a fictional island in the Ryukyus off the shore of Okinawa instead of Hawaii. So, Japan does this a lot. They make a spinoff, their own version of another product, and make an anime about it. And somehow it's called anime because it's from Japan, even though the influence is not from Japan. Because we get into like other areas like the film industry and the Matrix, visit some of the creators of the anime films, strong influences, and decide to collaborate with them. Anime fans have influenced Disney. No, Japanese anime has influenced Disney, Pixar, DreamWorks Productions. We also have, big projects like Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, Tangled being a direct influence, which is Glenn, the director for the animators for this project. Then we have like Rescues Down Under, Gary Tusado and Cook are the director like Beauty and the Beast, Hunchback of Notre Dame, Atlantis: The Lost Empire, are huge fans of anime. They have Miyazaki comes up again for a major influence. Miyazaki's influence on Disney dates back to The Great Mouse Detective. We have Lupin III, Castle of Cagliostro, and then we have the Pay the Way to the Disney Renaissance. Disney's The Lion King was plagiarizing Otomo Tezuka's Hyper the White Lion. They had similarities. However, Disney declined the accusation of plagiarism. The controversy in Kiba and Lion King was parodied in a 1995 episode of Simpsons. Another Disney film, Atlantis the Lost Empire, plagiarized Studio Gainax, Nadia, The Secret of Blue Water. But that's kind of where taking influence can be a bad area, so just be aware of that. Also, Miyazaki has influenced Pixar. Miyazaki has a huge, animations referencing to other animators. So he's very influential in the anime world and animation as well. Monsters Inc. and Up has also described anime. Miyazaki as an influence. Then we have another influence on Frozen. So another connection there to staff working on that project. They were inspired by epic adventure and big scope and scale. Funny, quirky characters. Then we also have flight and passive themes from the influence How to Train Your Dragon franchise. So the influences keep coming along. And it really goes to show you, if this influence continues, will we have a new term of what anime is supposed to be? And if so, what does that look like? It kind of also supports the idea that if anime is so influential, wouldn't it just, instead of being anime inspired, just be called anime? Because the art form has been that loosely interpreted to be different or transformative. It's an interesting thought. I haven't really just thought about that way. And then, Brazil, we have the 2000s independent projects for animated series like The Holy Avenger and Monica Teen. They were canceled. Then we also have Nickelodeon, O's Underground. And we also have Flutter. Became the first work from a non-Asian nation to win the open entry grand prize at the Tokyo Anime Awards. So, we're having films challenge the status quo in the open entry grand prize at the Tokyo Anime Awards. Kind of is the first, well, not the first step, but it's a reward process challenging different aspects. Even Spirited Away has been nominated for Grammys and all this other stuff. Award-winning. It really goes to show you that if other countries recognize these great animation projects, does anime in Japan have to be exclusive? Can it also just be inclusive? I mean, it's really hard to answer this question because we are continuously having debate whether Japanese animation is, culturally anime, or is the art style, or if the term of, ideological, can it still be challenged and not necessarily have to be abstract to culture, but can it also just transform into style? Because technically, anime inspired animation has a similar style to anime, and some series are actually doing a good job in the animation process. So, style can get thrown out the window, and the only known to fame that Japan has now is the culture in place of origin. But that's not very strong argument. Even I will have to admit that, because the simple fact that there is just so much confusion of what anime truly is. And yes, I have been known to say, yeah, that's Disney anime. Only because anime is short for animation, and if you put specifically the proper noun in front of what type of anime it is, then Disney anime is just Disney animation for short. So that's kind of something else I have considered too. Then we go to Europe. We have like the French American co-production Witch of the Magical Girl series, anime influence visual style. Neon Genesis was actually design inspiration. And then we also have Italian, the animated series based on Italian comics of the same name, draw in line with manga conventions as opposed to more rounded style traditionally. And also, we have the co-producer Disney, that even the Oliver Dumont, which is the co-executive producer, so that the high-quality animation was intended to be true to the detailed arc of the comic series. We have the producers of the French animation Code Loco. I love Code Loco because Code Loco, you have characters, digital realm, and they go in that digital realm. It kind of has a isekai feel, but actually it's more like they battle those creatures in that virtual reality, I think, and just be able to have two different lives. It's very successful in Europe, explicitly stated in the introductory document, influenced by the poetry and the visual impact of Japanese animation. The series proposes a graphic universe, particularly original and strong. Again, animated series is what I've coined because so much animation takes inspiration to plot of Japan, plot of anime, how it's drawn, to colorization, to the story. It's, a visual aspect. All of that takes all these aspirations and turns into their own animation style. We also have Wakfu, the animated series. It's a flash animation based on a video game, but it did really well in France. So, even I like Wakfu. It has a really interesting storyline, and, the game is good in itself, but it's just one of those things you have to consider. All these animation projects are just blending the line what, the abstract idea what is anime. Spain, we have movie star Virtual Hero, a Spanish animated series by YouTube. Personality El Rubius was dubbed the first anime in Spanish history. We have the Netflix original Indom Chronicles, Endoom's Memories book saga, which was Lawyer Galileo in 2021, featuring an anime style animation. So that is interesting. We also have other European countries like Spies, which is actually a pretty good show. Martin Mystery and Team Galaxy. The visual style of the Italian-American animated series Winx Club is a mixture of European and Japanese elements, also to the Magical Guild subgenre. So Europe is taking a big swing, but America has huge contributions to the animation community. So it kind of goes to show you that even if Japan opens up, let's just say opens up its borders to the term anime, what are they going to do? They're going to say, well, this is not anime. You know, that's still that problem they're going to hold on to. So, let's go to Asia, which, you know, anime comes from Japan, which Japan's part of Asia, but none of Asian animation is considered anime. Well, if it doesn't